Hey everyone, we're looking at a 10 marker from the beliefs topic, which is paper 2. And this video will outline a student paragraph. We'll look at that structure and some revision of some of the main theories. This is a good question to start with, especially if you have only just started to study the beliefs topic and you've only just looked at the theory of religion. So this video we're focusing on how to structure your answer to score well on an outline and explain 10 mark. You will have 15 minutes to answer, 7.5 minutes per paragraph, and we're looking for 2 balanced paragraphs. They will ask you for reasons, ways, effects, problems, functions, strengths, weaknesses of a particular idea, view or theory or method. And what we want you to do is look for the question hooks, because this style of question requires you to make a link between the two. These only appear on Theory and Methods, paper 1 and 3, and in your topics on paper 2. So here is a generic mark scheme so you can see exactly what you need to do, and just focusing on that top band, you will need to show good knowledge and understanding of whatever 2 things that you've been asked for, and that is shown through keywords, concepts which are relevant, any specialist terms. You may even explain them to show good understanding. There'll also be 2 applications of the relevant material, and what that means is that you are linking it to the question, okay, answering the question set. And there'll also be appropriate analysis. And you will get that from digging a little bit deeper, going into that little bit deeper, making comparisons and so on. And it could even be critical analysis. So the focus of the 10 mark question, outline and explain, is application and how well you can link ideas together, often from different areas of the spec. So in order to answer this accurately, you need to identify the 2 parts that you need to show links between. So we're going to call them part A and part B. So in this question, your part A is your function. Okay, and you can look at a range of different functions from Functionalist, Marxist or Feminist. Now your part B that you've got to apply this function to is the individual and or society. Okay, so you just got to choose one of those. So whatever the theory, the function that you talk about, how is it benefiting the individual? In what way? Or is it benefiting society? And what does that mean? How is it doing it? It's also useful to annotate right round your question, your initial ideas. Just spend a couple of minutes writing that question down and spend a couple of minutes doing that. It'll allow you to organise your thoughts, but it'll also allow you to decide on the 2 functions that you know most about in order to maximise your marks. So what will the structure of the answer look like? So once again, we'll look at an example answer so we can identify the 2 parts of the question and show application and any AO3 analysis. So you're going to start off with the part A of the question, which is asking you for the function that religion may perform. So we're going to start off by writing that sentence out. One function that religion may perform is to promote social solidarity. And then you're going to explain what that means. It's a term used by Durkheim to suggest an important part of society is to ensure that everybody feels unity and part of that group. He also argues that religion does this in his example of totemism. Now, you are going to get a little bit of application marks because you are applying an example of religion there. Now, what is a totem? So we're going to show our understanding. The totem is a sacred object that the group worships. It gives the group an identity and a sense of belonging, and it's through this collective worship of the totem that brings people together. So we've got really good AO1 there. You have explained what that function is, you've used relevant pieces of research, and you've used specialist terminology. So now we're going to link it to the part B. And we're going to continue that sentence by saying, by ensuring that everybody in the group worships the same totem, this shows that religion benefits society as a whole. So we are really linking to the question. You have used the wording of the question. Why? Because it maintains solidarity and keeps society stable, because everybody believes in the same totem. Okay, so we are linking it back. It logically follows on, and we are referring back to terms that you've started off using, such as social solidarity. So it's running through as a theme through the paragraph. It also reinforces a collective conscience, which is a shared set of moral values or beliefs that people have, and through this collective worship, it is reinforced. This avoids any feeling of anomie that may disrupt the stability of society, and it also maintains the status quo. So we're continuing with that theme, and we are showing through the specialist terminology how it is benefiting society as a whole. And we're not going to stop there, because we're going to offer some analysis, because there are other examples in society that also perform that same function to promote social solidarity. We're going to use Bella and his concept of civil religion in the USA. And we're just going to give a little bit of an explanation of what that civil religion is. So they worship the God of America, they pledge allegiance to the American flag, celebrate events. You can put your own examples in here as well, show your understanding. And what that does, it unites Americans who have come from different faiths, different backgrounds, different cultures. It brings them together and it benefits American society as a whole. So once you wrote that paragraph, you are going to do it for a second function. So let's have a little bit of a look at other functions that you could talk about. It'll allow you to revise the rest of the topic as well. And all you need to do is choose one of those and write that second paragraph. So we've got a second function, could be a psychological or cognitive function. In this paragraph, you will show a bit of knowledge using relevant studies from either Durkheim, who talks about cognitive function, or you might talk about Parsons, who talks about the meanings that people attach from religion, or Malinowski, who talks about life crises and life-changing events in his study of the Trobriand Islanders. You then need to make sure that you apply it to how it benefits the individual. So that's the part B of the question. So it helps the individual cope with the emotional stress that may undermine social solidarity. Remember, they are functionalist, so they do talk about the same themes. And make sure that you are applying an example from religion to just back up your understanding. So you could use the Trobriand Islanders here because Malinowski talks about the use of canoe magic before fishing, and it allowed people to gain control over things that are out of their control. Or you could talk about how it might give meaning in terms of life-changing events. For example, someone's dying, for example. So funerals, rituals, they give comfort, for example. And you might think of other examples that you can apply here as well. So just use your knowledge and your understanding. So then we end our paragraph with our functionalist analysis. So is this benefit to the individual and an exaggeration? So we could argue that other examples from Christianity, Judaism, Islam, they all have rituals that give meaning and act as a psychological function. So you could show a comparison between different ones. You might even offer some critical analysis about Malinowski because his research was on a small scale society. Can we apply that effectively to a more complex society where there might be multiple beliefs? How can we judge the impact of religion in this way? Or you can think about today's society. It's becoming increasingly secular. Has it given rise to functional alternatives that may also perform these functions, which will allow us to help change with life-changing events or life crises? For example, there are more humanist or non-religious funerals. People might have baby showers, or think about the role that football plays in people's lives. And can you think of your own examples as well? To show your understanding and your analysis here. Another function that you might want to pick up on might come from Marxist, who talks about the role of religion is to reinforce class inequality. You might refer to Marx or Lenin, this idea that there's this ideological function, it is a brainwash, calling religion more like a gin or an opium. It's there to dull the pain of oppression. You could also talk about terminology about alienation, the belief in the afterlife. It sort of like suppresses people and makes them passive in this looking forward and putting up with what's, the monotony of the boredom of a capitalist society. Then you need to make sure that you are applying it to how it benefits society. So it's through the ideological function, the working class are brainwashed, it prevents a revolution, it's benefiting capitalism. And make sure that then you are using an example from religion. So you could talk about the bourgeoisie using Christian hymns to maintain capitalism because it prevents that revolution, keeping that inequality there. So does this benefit society? is it an exaggeration? So there are other examples of where religion does this. So Hindu caste system, and what that is, it divides Hindus into four main categories, and many believe that these groups originate from Brahma, the Hindu god of creation. It has origins in ancient India, and it was transformed by the ruling classes or the ruling elite to maintain that class inequality. Marxists might argue religion discusses the conservative nature of religion to maintain class inequality, but it doesn't explain where the cause of capitalism comes from or where class exploitation comes from. And neo-Marxists might argue that religion assisted with a counter-hegemony, so it doesn't always benefit society, that religion can be used to create a dual consciousness and could actually reinforce some social change. Our final function that we're going to go through is to reinforce patriarchy. So this means that religion is reinforcing a male-dominated society, and you could refer to different sociologists, in particular from feminism, Armstrong, Daly. You could look at the examples in the religious text, the hierarchy, and how religion has been reinterpreted to benefit men. Make sure that you are applying to how does it benefit society, so make it explicit that you're going to say it benefits a patriarchal society, that men have interpreted religion in a way to benefit them, and it stops women challenging the system through a similar ideology. And we could use examples from religions such as Christianity, Islam, or any other religions that you know to show how it has prevented social change of gender equality. So let's analyse it. So Woodhead argues that traditional religion is patriarchal, acts as a conservative force, it keeps society the same. It's not true of all religions. There are religious forms of feminism which show that women are using religion to benefit themselves. Pentecostal religions, where women often hold a traditional gender role, they use religion to increase their power and influence, and piety movements, middle-class urban women try to further their own interests, like the Quakers in the 19th century were committed to gender equality. And we've also got changes within the Church of England with female vicars and bishops that can just show that religion is not always reinforcing a patriarchal society. So overall, when answering a 10-mark outline and explain, make sure you show good AO1 knowledge of both parts of the question. Show how part A links to part B. Use the wording of the question, LBTQ, link back to the question, and make sure you offer a further explanation, analytical point to end. So massive thank you for watching. If you have found it useful, please click the like button, leave us any comments, pop them below, and check out some other videos that I've also done. I've got how to structure a 20-mark question, how to answer the 2 different 10 markers, one with an item, one without. So we've got loads of different examples that you can use. Thanks, guys.